Hey, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-in episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, I'm excited to feature Terry Bruns, owner of Two Men and a Truck. It's a moving company. And Terry, did you know that you've been members since 2011? So over 10 years and have been a huge community steward ever since. So I'm so glad to feature your business today. And we have a fun thing to bring in the Idaho Humane Society's Director of Development and Stewardship, Leah Stevens Clark. We'll bring her on the screen here in a minute to kind of share your partnership with Movers for Mutts. I think that's so awesome. But first, Terry, let's talk a little bit about Two Men and a Truck. And what I like to do with these check-ins is learn about the products and services and share the company's origin stories and the people. So why don't we start with you, Terry? Tell us a little bit about your background and history of work that led you to becoming an entrepreneur and investing in Two Men and a Truck.
Well, my background, I went to the Air Force straight out of high school, and I got to learn a lot about logistics while I was in the Air Force, and I hadn't really worked fully in logistics after I left the Air Force, but the once I discovered Two Men in a Truck, and I just fell in love with the brand and the core values and the mission that it had. It was such a close match to mine. It was pretty much a perfect match to mine. So that's what led me there. Um, and so before that, other than the Air Force, not a lot of it really makes sense to Two Men in a Truck. But I do love logistics and love what we do. You know, we help people get moved from one location to another. We do junk removal. We do some storage. So kind of really anything centered around that moving part of their life.
Well, in your history, so being in the Air Force and learning about logistics, where are you from, and what led you to Idaho if you're not from here?
No, I'm from here. I was born in Idaho, in the Magic Valley, not the Treasure Valley. So born in Gooding and grew up in Gooding and Hagerman.
Oh wow.
So very much small town Idaho boy, and yeah, and then I left for the Air Force within weeks of graduating high school, and was fortunate I got to live in Europe for a while and see much of the world. But I always knew I wanted to get back to Idaho. I met my wife while I was in the Air Force. She's from Scotland, my wife Linda, and so finally got to the point where I was able to bring her back to Idaho, and we moved back to Idaho in '96, and that's when we came to the Treasure Valley and settled here in the Boise area.
Did you get to work at the Mount Home Air Force Base?
No, I didn't. That was not part of it at all. I was definitely a long ways from Idaho during my time in the Air Force.
That's crazy because Gooding, it's right there. I was like, oh my gosh, you could be, yeah, it's a perfect.
Yeah, I asked to go, but it didn't fit the Air Force's needs at the time.
Well, thanks for your service, Terry, and incredible background. And let's talk a little bit about Two Men in a Truck. You had mentioned investing into Two Men in a Truck and what I discovered when I was doing a little research is that it's a franchise that started, 4 decades ago. Tell us about that origin story and bring us up to speed on what Two Men in a Truck are all about and their when, where, and how and why.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's a bit of an unlikely story. It originally started with two brothers that were in high school, and rather than getting jobs in high school, they had an old Ford pickup truck, and they took out an ad in our version of it. I don't know what theirs was, but Thrifty Nickel or American Classified. A lot of you will remember that. And so they just took out an ad and doing odd jobs, hauling a sofa or maybe taking stuff to the dump, but it was just odd jobs. It wasn't a moving service. And then they left for college and took the ad out of the classifieds, and the phone kept ringing, and their mom didn't know what to do. So wonderful woman, Mary Ellen Sheets, she worked for the state of Michigan in Lansing, and she didn't know what to do. So she bought an old U-Haul truck for, I think she said it was $350.
Wow.
And hired two men and gave it the company the name Two Men in a Truck. And she would just started moving people because the phone was ringing from what her boys had done. And she's all about great customer service and did a great job. And it just kind of took on a life of its own. She started having to buy more trucks and hire more people, and eventually had to give up her job with the state of Michigan and just run it. And so that's the way it was. This was in the mid 80s, and it grew. And a friend had suggested that she franchise it. Her friend franchised a dog walking service and said, Mary Ellen, you should franchise this. And she's like, well, I just have a little moving company. Who would buy a moving company franchise? But she eventually decided to pursue it and franchised it, and it took on a life of its own. And it's a great brand all across the U.S. The West was the latter part of the stages to get it. And so my story starts in 2011. I had come across the brand. And like I said previously, I just fell in love with the core values. As I called the franchisor and talked to them, I really identified with them. And the more I talked to them, the more excited I got, which had never really happened before. And started doing due diligence. I started talking to fellow franchisees, and same thing. We just aligned so well that I just knew at that point, this was something that I need to be part of. And so my wife and I made the decision. Our house was paid off at that time. We decided to mortgage the house and buy the franchise, bought two brand new trucks, hired 8 to 10 people, and opened shop up. And I remember joining the chamber that you were talking about, that the day we opened, the first day the phones don't ring. And I'm like, okay, what should I do? The first thing. And I'm like, I need to go join the chamber. And I did it at that time. I remember it well. So yeah, it's just taken on a life of its own for us. It's been great. The community's been very accepting, and we have just grown. We add 1 or 2 trucks every year because the demand just keeps increasing.
Love the logo. Those 2 stick figures driving the old truck. That's perfect. That's probably the same model of truck that the 2 brothers started with.
Yeah, Mary Ellen drew that logo on a napkin. She still has the original napkin when she drew it, and she came up with the name. And she's just the most humble, beautiful lady you can imagine. And she's retired now and no longer part of it. But I got to know her through about the first half of my time in the system. And yeah, she creative genius drawing that little stick figure truck.
It's awesome. There's a lot of stuff on your website that I love. There's lots of cool videos in there that tell you, and I got caught watching every single video that's on there about, how to pack, what to look forward to, how to communicate, what you can't pack, what they won't carry for you. Anyway, you mentioned being across the entire country. How many franchises are there?
I believe that there's around 340 locations now. I'm not 100% on that, but I think it's about 340 locations.
Wow, that's huge. And there's a reason why it works. It's like you said, it's about the people, it's about the matching, it's the integrity. And now we're going to get into some of the community stewardship here. But there's one thing that really stuck out to me was the slogan, moving people forward. Help me share what that means to 2 men in a truck.
That's my favorite. We have a fantastic mission statement that I believe in wholeheartedly, and we live it day to day. We have amazing core values, same thing. But our core purpose is moving people forward. And it has multiple meanings. For me, it does anyway. And I'm pretty sure that's the way that it's intended. I wasn't part of coming up with it, but I identify with it, and it's my favorite part. And so there's kind of the obvious that we're helping our customers move forward in their lives, whatever it is. Sometimes it's for the greatest of reasons. They're getting their dream home, or, got a promotion. Sometimes it's for tragic reasons. You've lost a parent and you need to move them out. But it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, they need to move forward in their life in that stage. And so we get to help them move forward in their life. And that's very special. But it also means Um, what we're doing right now with Movers for Mutts, we get to try to help our community move forward. Our community's great partners to us, and there's a lot of things going on in the community, and if we can just do one little thing here and one little thing there, we can help the community in our own small way move forward. But for me, probably the biggest part of it that really sinks home is I take it to heart to move our employees forward. That's my number one mission here. Is I look at it now. We've grown to the point where I'm not in the customers' homes all the time, or very rarely for that matter. And to have our employees help move our customers forward, I need to give them all the training and all the tools and all the knowledge and all the skills that I can, coaching, to help them move forward and improve where they are in life. And that's been my favorite part. My personal mission is that every single person that comes to work for us leaves here in a better place than they came to us in. No matter if it's a short tenure or if it's a long tenure, that's my goal. And we have a great team of managers that they live it too, and we do a great job of that. I have a note here from a mover that came to us with $16,000 worth of student loan debt, and he didn't expect to get the kind of job that would allow him the opportunities that he had. And within 1 year, he completely paid it off. And he just came in and handed me the note and said, I did this because of this job. When we have a person buy their first home, those are some of my biggest moments that know that we're gave them an opportunity to get them on the home ownership thing and promotions. We've got our longest tenured employees having his 10-year anniversary this week, and moved up through the ranks from a part-time helper on the trucks to now he's our operations manager. And these aren't things to us, but it's great, being part of it. He's married, two beautiful daughters. He's in the process of buying his third home.
Wow.
Since he started. And so we've helped bring 3 people in already on the ownership side of things. We opened up a new office in Twin Falls and brought three of our people up on the ownership side, and one of them lives in Twin Falls and gets to own and operate that business. And we're very close to opening up a third office and doing the same thing with another a person who started as a mover and is going to be an owner, owning and operating his own business here, probably within less than 6 months. So we get to move people forward, and that I'm glad you asked, because sorry, I probably went on and on about that, but it's definitely a lot to me.
Well, at the very least, you're coaching and developing the finer points of lifting and turning techniques.
We are.
Maybe one back at a time.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it's skills that tend to help you through life, even just that part. But yeah, financial acumen and customer service skills and communication skills, and we tried really to give them a broad tool chest that they can use throughout life.
I love it, Terry. Okay, you had mentioned Movers for Mutts, and I can't wait. So I'm going to add Leah into our conversation, add her to the stage here, so to speak. Hi, Leah.
Hi there, Paul. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thank you for the opportunity. When we all hopped on the call earlier, before we went live, there was some great synergy, and I loved our conversation. And I just want to hang out and have a beer with you guys.
I'm in 100%. As long as Linda comes, I'm in.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us, as the Director of Development and Stewardship for the Idaho Humane Society, give us a couple minutes of your background and history that led you into working with the Humane Society.
Yeah, I have a background in the arts and in education, and in about May of 2022, I joined the team here at the Idaho Humane Society, which I love. I've always adopted animals from the Humane Society from the time I was a kid. I grew up in Boise, going out to the old facility over on Dorman Street, and some of my best friends I picked up there at the old Humane Society. So when this opportunity came up to work here and do something that's that's really important to me and something that really matters to me in my community, I hopped on that opportunity. I've worked in nonprofits my whole life, and so having the opportunity to do the work here at the Humane Society just means the world to me.
That's awesome, Leah. My wife and I, we love animals, and we have some animals from the Humane Society, a couple that we've gone through, and we love the foster parent opportunity, and then what the Humane Society stands for, its brand, and how it's helping out our furry friends, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Movers for Mutts. How long has this been a program, and what is it impacting?
Great question. This is our inaugural year of Movers for Mutts. We're so excited to be partnering with Two Men in a Truck and Terry and the whole team over there at Movers for Mutts. We started talking sometime last fall, Linda and Terry and my team and I here at the Humane Society, about ways that we can create more good in our community. Ultimately, I know that Two Men in a Truck and Terry does another program with the WCA called Movers for Moms, and I think they've been doing that for many, many years, which benefits the organization and the women that are served by the WCA. But we were talking about how much Terry, I was saying this before you joined the call, Terry, that Terry, we were able to connect with Terry during See Spot Walk last year, which is in October, and he was able to help, like, at the drop of a hat, basically, like, can you come over right now and help us? And he was like, sure. And Terry's philosophy has always been that when he can say yes, he will say yes. And it's never, there's never a deliberation about it, about whether or not he's going to say yes to help a nonprofit organization. And we felt the authenticity so quickly in that partnership that it just seemed like, how can we manifest more community engagement? How can we create something even more wonderful with our platforms, both of our platforms? So we started talking at the end of last year about creating Movers for Mutts, which is a large scale donation drive for pet food and supplies to help us to make sure that our shelter animals are fed and served well. But in addition to that, two very important programs that we run called our Pet Food Pantry, which serves owned animals and folks that are maybe experiencing some economic hardship. It'll help them to keep their pets in their home and not have to relinquish them to the shelter. And then one of my favorite programs is called Meals on Wheels for Pets. And we deliver food to homebound individuals every month. And we want to make sure that they have high quality, delicious, wonderful food, because sometimes those are the most important relationships in these people's lives. And so when we talked about that with Terry and with Linda, his wife, they just were like, of course, we've got to do this. So it's running right now. Movers for Mutts is running right now. It started at the beginning of the month in September, and it runs all the way through our biggest community fundraiser, See Spot Walk, which is on October 7th. We're culminating the drive at See Spot Walk at Julia Davis Park on October 7th. So it's going to be great. I'm getting so much feedback, like, our box is full, send the movers. So I know it's been really, even today I was communicating with the Two Men in a Truck guys that we have the bins, the collection bins at Zamzo's stores across the Treasure Valley. We have them at several locations. Treasure Valley Subaru has been great. And yeah, so they're just filling up, and we're going to feed these animals all through the winter, which is the hope, that we can just fill a truck and feed these animals all winter long.
How long is the Movers for Mutt campaign?
It started 1st of September and it'll end October 7th. So
okay.
Just about a month. Mm-hmm.
And what if we don't have a barrel to put food in? Well, how do we connect?
So you can go to the 2 Men in a Truck website. That'll tell you where the collection spaces are. Also the Idaho Humane Society website. That'll tell you where all the collection drop-offs are. We have them around the whole Treasure Valley, like as far as Caldwell, to the west, and Boise, Town Square Mall, lots of different places. So there should be some place close by. We can also, of course, accept them here at the Idaho Humane Society.
Awesome. I got to show a picture of the furry animals. These guys, oh my gosh, that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
There's some other, here we are. It's kind of the donate today, Movers for Mutts, 2 Men in a Truck. You can call 286-1125 to find a location. You can also go to the Idaho Humane Society or Treasure Valley Subaru or the Zamzows stores. I also want to show this other picture. This is such a cute boy or girl. Looks like they're accepting dry dog food is a high need, or dry cat food is a high need, and then the dog treats is a big wish list item as well.
Yeah, two things that we absolutely are desperate for right now are dog treats and dry cat food. They're in high demand, and that being on the chamber, it's a high school economics problem that we're having right now, in that economically people are feeling a little stressed, and so they're donating less food. Right. And at the same time, we are seeing our need for our pet food pantry and our pet meals on wheels double in the last year. So it's a supply and demand issue that we're dealing with right now. So many people who maybe used to pick up an extra bag of food and drop it off at the Humane Society maybe don't feel like they're capable of doing that right now. And more people are needing the services to help them to keep their animals in their loving homes.
Absolutely. Well, I love this partnership. It makes a lot of sense. Movers for Mutts, congratulations on your inaugural year of launching this program. I can't wait to be talking about this in 10 years from now.
Yes, please.
Yes, that's terrific. Hey, any closing things that you'd like to educate the public on while we have you? Let's start with you, Terry.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, everybody, on that flyer that Paul had up there, but there's also a QR code on there. So if you're not able to make it in where there's a collection box, you are able to donate. The Humane Society can really make cash donations go a long way. So obviously we love the pet food and the treats and the toys and all that, but that's another way to go, and they can really make that go a long ways. And I don't know if you've all been to the Humane Society's website to see what their mission is and what their values are, but they have a tremendous mission. Just such a great organization, and we feel honored to be able to help, and hopefully we can fill a full moving truck this year, and hopefully in 10 years we're filling multiple moving trucks.
Yes.
To help out the Humane Society and let their other resources go that much farther by taking this need off of their plate. And thank you for the chamber for letting us come here and talk about this important issue. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. Leah, any closing comments?
Boy, Terry, I don't know if you need a job, but if you're interested in coming over to the nonprofit sector, we would certainly take you. He took the words right out of my mouth. It's exactly right. Like, our website has so many resources on it for pet owners, but also adoptable pets. We have seen a slowing in our adoption rates, and we usually have very, very fast adoption rates. So we've seen that sputter a little bit this year, and which is no surprise considering all the other things we know about the economic strains on families. So it updates every 15 minutes. So every animal you see on that website is ready to be adopted.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you both for the opportunity to help share Movers for Mutts, showcase 2 Men in a Truck and your origin story, Terry. Tell Linda, thank you for making this all happen. And Leah, I look forward to our next conversation. You guys have a great weekend. And I can't wait to cheers next time.
Yay! Yes.
Yes. Agreed. Thank you.